Our keynote address by His Holiness Dr. Swami Maharaj. Hari Bol! Maharaj, quick intro, very quick. I don't want to waste too much time. He took Srila Prabhupada, got initiated in 1973. Very Bol! It's not that far back.
I was 6.
Yeah. How old were you? I was minus 3 years old.
Minus 7.
Born in 1976.
79.
So Maharaj, he joined in Toronto. That's in Canada. It's like the whole other country. And it didn't take very long for him to give up the useless world and connect fully to Krishna. And he served, in ISKCON in the 80s as a president in Toronto until 1995, and then he took, of course, he also took sannyas in the 80s, and he's been gracing many fortunate states and continents directly with his feet, with his lotus feet, and touching people's lives, common people who would otherwise have never ever heard of Krishna in their life, coming in newspaper articles. You can read all about it in some of the books, The Walking Monk, and there's quite a few nice books. I have them, I read them. I'm very inspired by him personally. I'm very fortunate that he gives me the time of day and gives me some inspiration and encouragement, no matter what I do. From Maharaj, I learned one thing, that ISKCON, our number one product, is love and encouragement.
We walked across Canada, big place, right? 3 times.
Yeah.
4
And the US. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And it really is. And what a beautiful day it is, and a fantastic weekend. It couldn't be better. It's the kind of weather that keeps your heads kind of cool. Okay, what I want to do is rough. I haven't done a presentation on Zone 1, but we'll do something that we can do. I want to do something that's a little bit on the physical side. I think we can start with that. But I was very impressed with Madana-gopāla, what he just demonstrated for us. Can you do that for me right now? The other one's better. Oh, the other one's better. Okay. Give it to me, the other one.
Wait, could you do it again? I was so mesmerized.
Thank you, very impressive. Okay, so I've got 9 points that I want to bring up for discussion. And basically, since it's been pointed out that in the Great White North, above us here, a place called Canada, which will never be the 51st state. We did some experimentation. And by the way, that phrase, Donald Trump didn't make that up. We used to hear that when we were kids. We just said, well, you're going to be the 11th province. Okay. All right, so first of all, the topic is fun, the fun in Krishna consciousness. Rajavidya, the last line says it all. The joy of Krishna consciousness. It's got to be fun. It's got to be, happening. So I do get a chance to get outside of my zone, and I think it's really important. If you want a good zone, you have to get out of your zone. Yeah, well, they always say that, get out of your comfort zone, right? And that for myself, I do go to areas in the States, and I go to other countries and continents. Of course, I've had a pleasure working with young people and doing drama presentations and to add something, highlight some of the festivals like Rath Yatras. Of course, I've been in Philadelphia and a few other places doing that. And so what I want to do, this is what I do when I go to various parts of the world. We grab some young people and we bring this, something like this. These are universal, you get them in any toy store or sports place. So I'm going to ask us to play a little game, which we do, and we do this in the water. But I'm not going to suggest we go in that water over there. I'm sure it's got E. coli and a few other things in there. But I'm going to ask if you could put your refreshments down and anything else, because this does not require much brain power. Just fun. Okay, so I'm just going to take this. And we're in the water about this deep. We do it with the boys, and we encourage the girls to have their own team as well. And this is Krishna, represents Krishna. We don't want him to get wet. So we try to keep him off the water 108 times, the volley at 108 times. Do you think we can do that here? Okay.
No.
Great. So we have to be a little flexible, okay? We can go across the room here, and we have to count it. Let's try to do it 108 times, keep it up in the air. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keep it up, 7, 8, everyone, 9,
You can't do it.
10, 11, 12, okay. Oh,
13.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, count.
21, 22, 23.
So what we do at that point is we splash that person down. Okay,
What's clarification? You catch it or you bounce it?
you should actually volley.
Volleyball.
Don't hold it. You gotta keep it up.
It's like volleyball time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21, 22, 24, 25, 6, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 5, 36, 37, 38, I'll do it one more time, okay? Make sure you volley and you can share it with the two sides. Is that it? Is that it? Don't no macho stuff. It's got to be gingerly like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No! She got splash twice. Okay, great. Thank you. That was fun, wasn't it? Well, we've done it. We've done it. Somehow we have two.
We all have to come back next year.
Yeah. Good. So I just want to say this is what we do. We have a lot of fun. We can be in the water and be in the elements. And you know, not everybody has a sort of sportive side to them, but they quickly learn the game, you know? And the best part of it all is to splash someone to death. Really, we just have personalities come out. It's one year, I don't know if Anutama, you were with us, but we went to the Ganga for the GBC members, and we went to one of those islands in the river. And I remember Jayapataka Swami, he was a real fierce fighter. And the Church of Swami was with us, so it's been a while ago. Yeah. So it was during Reverend Swaroop's time when he was the chairperson. He was very innovative and came up with nice ideas to create a kind of a bond. That's what it was. And so I do this with the young guys, and whether it's on the beach, off the ocean, or off a lake, a river, or at a pool, it doesn't matter. Go out there and have some fun. Because we tend to sometimes get a little bit formal with each other, and we don't have time to, I don't have time to talk right now. I'm doing the puja right now, the aarti, that kind of thing. And we don't have time for each other. So it's important to create time for each other. It could be a picnic, it could be kirtan outside, anything, but the most simplest things is what really is called for. And that's, I like to do it, I'm passionate about it, and that's what we do. Just kind of create bond with everyone. And people really do get good after 20 minutes or a half hour, they get the hang of it. And after all, our goal is the same. We want to touch Krishna's heart, when we get to his lotus feet, we want to make a change in the world. And so that requires incredible teamwork. And that's what this is all about, apart from having fun. And just laugh, just a little laughter. It gets so addictive, you don't want to leave. You just stay in the water the whole time. I wish we could do that. Okay, so I want to bring that point up. And in terms of having fun, well, the other channels, I've been working with drama, with the groups now. I'm seeing people they've got salt and pepper hair. It's like, I know you. I worked with you when you were a kid, you know. Now you're in your 40s, you're pushing 50, but I worked with you. We did a drama together, in fact, in my travels. The kids remind me, they're not kids anymore. Yeah, I was with you in a play. You don't remember? That kind of thing. All right, so that's really, what I want to say in regards to building up team spirit. And of course, this is just, a ball is universal, isn't it? I think everybody understands it. And the way I explained it, there's nothing complicated about it. Like I want to say about Jayapataka Swami, very affectionately, he wanted to create all these rules and everything like that. Oh, we just want to one Maharaj, please. All right, so the next one, I thought was really important. We brought up a little bit this morning about Prabhupada centeredness. In my travels, I've also found that there's a little bit of a disconnect with, the old, like Prabhupada, what he gave us in terms of kirtan standards. So we started this conscious kirtan workshop. We've done it here before and taken it around a few places. I got it down to be like a slideshow. It lasts for an hour or so, an hour and 15 minutes, including people with questions and so on like that. So with Jayadvaita Swami's inspiration, his book that more recently came out, that I thought that was one way to really, get Prabhupada to understand what he wanted in terms of standards for kirtan. I do go around, I see a lot of, of the rules being broken, and frankly, a lot of devotees, they're tone deaf. I'm not a super musician or anything like that, but there's a lot of tone deafness that happens in our community. And some lessons, voice lessons, won't hurt anybody. But it's good to know what Prabhupada wanted. Everything was it okay to chant Ita Gaur Hari Bol? He never did it, but he let it go. And Jai Gurudev, he didn't like that. And he just wrote it, presented a couple of times. These are things that we need to know. And also, what's the mood behind it? Am I a rock star? Am I under the lights? Am I entertaining? Is that what it's all about? So I felt that this was an important element to try to bring the community together. So last November, when our Zone 1 leaders from across Canada came together, we just did this little workshop with them. So everybody's on the same page together. All the leaders know, oh yeah, okay, this is the standard. I get it now. Fine, we'll follow it through. And we'll try to tell our other members, constituents in the community, to do the same. So I thought that was very helpful. And otherwise, there's a lot of interesting things that go on. Things can get very diluted, watered down when it comes to those standards. So, there's a lot of stuff. How many times do you change a melody during a kirtan? Kirtan's only 10 minutes, and how many times did you change it up to something new? Things like that. It gets a little bit crazy. And in terms of, being able to do a great presentation out there, in our zone, everyone's crazy about Rath Yatras. Just anytime we open up a center, we're going to do Rath Yatras. The first thing on the day. And so there has to be some standards as to how you present yourself in the public, whether it's parading down the street or in a park or on the stage venue. It all has to be, assessed. Like Prabhupada used to say, it has to sound nice and look nice. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay, great. If you have any questions, during this course of my presentation, I don't mind. I think it's okay. But or you can leave it at the end. Okay, then the next point is, by the way, this is Jagannath Prabhu. He drove me here. I didn't walk. He's just helping out from the technical side. Is it showing up there? Okay. Number 3, love your turf. You have to love your country. You have to love it. You have to embrace it. You have to own it almost. Whether you're born there or it's your new adopted field, really cherish it, hug it, and says, I'm going to make Krishna consciousness work in my area. So I don't think there's anything wrong about being patriotic. That's a technical term that's used in the Chetan Charita. Prabhupada Desh. Desh means place, and the place where you are loyal, the place you are loyal to in terms of spreading your Krishna consciousness, higher consciousness. I was always crazy about Canada and the US. We've always been good friends, the best friends for 200 years. 200 years, and until recently. No, we're still okay. It's just one guy stands in the way. All right. So I think that's really important, to look what you've got, look at your people. They're your assets. They're not liabilities. They're everything. That's your family. That is your family. Whether it's a zone, a big zone like you've got here, which represents how many millions of people? There's a lot. There's a lot. Anyway, we have in Canada, our zone, it's like 40 million. And then we add on a little bit with 6 states, just to let you know. I don't know if it's practical to put it up there right now. But we're also responsible for Alaska, for Minnesota, the 2 Dakotas, Wyoming. Yeah, we got that wonderful park.
Yeah.
That's Yellowstone. And Montana. So we're working closely with the devotees. Of course, there's been development in Minnesota, and it's always been a little bit of a problem place. It's kind of like 2 camps, but we've kind of brought them in. They come to our meetings, which is nice, and we're kind of like the northern crowd, and we're working together. We couldn't justify having a zone just for Canada, so because it's the population couldn't justify the space, so it was decided we'll take up some more territory. And because I know from my walk across the U.S., there's a lot of neglected places. There's just people not going there at all. Maybe Maine is one of those places, and but Maine and let's see, Vermont, the northern stretches. Yeah. So that's another thing that I thought was really important. You have to love your land. And some people are kind of crazy. They walk the land, but if you want to know the land, you have to walk the land, or at least a chunk of it. You have to at least go to the parks. You have to. It's gonna buzz through the cities. Go through the malls. Try to meet some people. Just get the pulse of the place. I think that's really important. Get outside of, again, your comfort zone. Get out of your temple. Get out and meet the people and let them see you for what we are. I have the pleasure to walk around and people kind of go out of their way to be nice, just because of what we represent. I'm almost mistaken always for a Buddhist monk, and Buddhist monks have got a good reputation somehow. They don't know about us too much. If I was to be dressed in black and come from some other denomination, I don't know. I don't know what would happen. I have had people throw things at me during these things. Yeah, that's some of these walks. So another point, any questions so far on this? Okay, maybe it resonates very well. Yes, Lou.
When you were talking about the conscious Kirtan part, you mentioned that we should know what Prabhupada wanted.
Yes.
And on on the other end of the spectrum, we say that we also have to change according to time, place, and circumstances.
That's right.
How do we balance both?
Yes. Well, when it comes to, we go over this principle in our presentation. When it comes to temple presentations, we can be a little conservative, right? We made some rules on this. We don't like djembes necessarily in the temple. We like to keep it a little bit traditional. When it comes to outdoor events, then you can be a little bit more liberal. You can bring your guitar, you can bring your djembe, you can bring your piano if you want. You know, so there's some liberties there, and so we discussed that. And as you know, Prabhupada gave some directives in that regard, even as to how you look, how you dress, turbans, festoons, all kinds of flags, all kinds of things like that. Be very colorful. So that's the difference. You know, you have to look at the venue. What we chant to, we try to be very strict about it, and again, conservative in the temple. And when you go outside, then there might be some liberties as well. So I think you were asking about balance. So I think that you have to use a good sense, and takes a little bit of discernment as to what is appropriate for the situation. But I think we have to be careful not to spill that which is in the liberal venue into the temple. You know, keep them a little bit separate. You know, you have to have that sacred space. Remember what Prabhupada wanted. So when we do this conscious kirtan workshop, there's two main things that we zero in on. And one is, what did Prabhupada want? And number two, inclusiveness. Try to involve people somehow. With your attractiveness, with your euphoria, whatever you want to call it, you know. Bring people in, encourage them, you know. Don't be in a bubble. That's the worst thing. I'm sure you've been through kirtans and perhaps bhajans where somebody's going like this and they're all into themselves. You know, and hello? There's nobody here left today. Everyone's gone. Keep your eyes open, and you know, just like even those of us who are part of the pop culture, you know, the guys are up there on the stage and they're looking at each other. Okay, now, you know, and there's a whole language that you have to employ even when it comes to kirtan. You know, so you know, be very united, inclusive. And you know how much fun it is to pull people in from outside. They're having a good time, say in downtown Manhattan or something like that. It's just so much fun when you rope people in. And so those are the two themes that we concentrate on in the presentation, which can go from anywhere from an hour and 15 minutes to like 4 hours. Yeah.
And how might we be able to access or get to
Well, we
experience that presentation?
can do it. We can send you the material that we put together, and you know, we'll discuss it a little bit as well. And it might be an idea to come and see the presentation first, hear it, see it, and then you're in a better, stronger position to present it to your local folks. You know. Yeah. And you know, the people that really need to go through the course, they're the ones that don't always show up. They're the kirtan leaders, you know, they're the ones that, you're trying to tell me that I'm doing something wrong? You know, you can see. And the answer is, you could tweak things a little bit. You know, Prabhupada's, you know, he's given us some, you know, reasons for doing things in certain manners. And we explain why it's like this, why it's like that. Why you don't do Radhe, 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 because Krishna has to be in the picture, he's to be part of the equation. And so popular kirtan leaders, they'll do a lot of stuff and people learn from them. Oh, those are people, those are the acharyas for kirtan. Look at how popular, look how everybody loves them, bows at their feet, kind of that type of thing. So they think that those are the leaders, and I think that if we don't have that in our temples, some kind of standard, then people have no choice but to go to those individuals who sometimes go a little bit off course. But okay? Yeah, great. That bird over there just confirmed that it's okay. Okay, great. So one thing that is of great concern to me is Prabhupada's centeredness. We've talked about this for so much over the years, but I don't think we've actually come to the point where we are allowing it to happen. There's a lot of gurupism, and this is maybe one of the hurdles. For instance, it's very important to hear Ishtagoshtis or meetings every week about what the guru wants. Which guru? Well, your guru. And by the way, you're married to someone. Well, we're God. What do they call it? God's siblings, right? You and I are God's siblings, but your wife is not, so that she can't come to our meetings. Things like that. It goes on. It's really, you hear about these things. And so I believe that we need to put Prabhupada in the middle. Was there a TV show, Malcolm in the Middle? We need to put Prabhupada in the middle, and that might require some legislation, passing some rules and things like that. We have gone to the point where we gave some directions, the GBC that is, on restricting the amount of hours or days that a Guru Puja or Vyasa Puja should be. But it's not honored. It's not honored. So I do think that some things need to be in place. And we're just a small group here. We can't sort of govern what's going on at ISKCON. We would certainly ignite or start or plant the seeds for something that's going to be, wholesome. Like I was talking with Madana-gopāla yesterday, and you were saying that in the Swami Narayan group, there's a lot of splitting going on, sects going all over the place, which we did not know about. And you said something that was really interesting to me. There's one group that split up some time back and was over the female issue. Same thing. Okay? There was one group that didn't want to have female teachers or gurus, and so another group, they were for and against. So it split the whole community up, and ended up being so many sects, which is too bad. I would just, out of this presentation, I'd like to make a plea that in North America, we can try to look at the letter that Prabhupada sent in '73, saying, I want all of my leaders to come together in Mayapur and speak about and how to implement the concept of Achincha Veda Veda Tattva, unity and diversity. Well, it never was done, never. Nobody ever talked about it on BBC level in Mayapur. So maybe it's something we can get going here. And I have a fear that we can easily split up. I can see it now, that we can divide. We can have many Protestant groups all over the place. And I don't think that's what Prabhupada wanted. We should do whatever we can to hold it all together. What do you think? I think there's no harm in telling people that Prabhupada is the principal guru. I don't think it really should hurt anybody for that matter. When I do some initiations, I always say, so I'm your Diksha Guru and I give you some advice. But Prabhupada, remember, he's the main guru for all of us. He's I didn't say the big daddy, but he is the main person. And he is, we're reading his books, we're taking his directives, he's given us everything, showed us how to cook, how to even go to the bathroom. Come on, it just continues to go on. And I think we need that, just like the Manavites and the Ramanujites, they have that kind of culture. I think we need that too. Yes.
You're speaking to presidents and board members and leaders, so can you maybe direct a little bit more in the sense that it's their responsibilities to make sure the devotees in their communities, like I just heard this morning, that allegedly there are some gurus who initiate people who haven't taken the disciple course. So it's our responsibility, at least in this northeast zone too, that should never happen. If somebody has not taken the disciple course, you don't get initiated, full stop. You don't get the recommendation of the temple president. If somebody does it without you getting your recommendation, you elevate it to the zonal supervisors or to me. We bring it to the GBC, and that's not allowed. Because we don't need people to be, as you said, guru groupies. We need people that are committed followers of Prabhupada and our parampara. They take an initiation through a particular person and inspire them to be initiated. It's not he's their singular guru now. We all know Siksha gurus are as or more important than the Diksha guru. So we have to play our role as temple authorities to make sure this type of personality cult, again, you use that word, I'll use it too, doesn't continue, because that's what divides us.
Right. Exactly, and that Guru Disciple course, you know, I've taken it a couple of times. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. It sets things right. But we do still have the challenges. People forget the contents of this, and they need to be reminded. And there's a lot of campaigning going on. An awful lot. You know, campaigning goes. You know what I mean? People are just, why don't you get initiated by my guru? Blah, blah, all this kind of stuff behind it. You know, I'm a firm believer that things should be done. It's better if it can be done locally, you know, as local as you can possibly get. Like, I think like Zone 2 to me, it'd be very wholesome if you had a few people who are very qualified for the job to do it, you know. And, you know, why not? Because then you'll get that personal attention. And I'll just give you an example. When I was more recently in India, one brahmachari was fairly senior, middle-aged, let's put it that way. He said, Maharaj, I was initiated 10 years ago, and my guru was coming. Could you introduce me to him? And he'd already been initiated, you see. So it's just that the volume is something that most people can't handle. That is for the gurus. And I think we have to become more realistic about the numbers, you know. So in the future, you know, I think it'd be good to see a lot of grihastas. Even Prabhupada mentioned sannyasis may not be doing this. You know, they let them fly and do their magic, fly around. But it'd be good for people on the ground, like grassroots stuff happening. They're already doing the job. I always found very odd. You would invest so much time in a new person, and then you're required to encourage that new person to seek a guru. And it's not you. You are already the guru. And so then, you know, it's kind of like you're over here and you're being everything to that person. And then somebody comes in for a couple of days and, you know, takes a few of your people with him, a bit of money as well. And now suddenly, so this person is up here and you're way down here somewhere. It's very caste conscious. I think it's very unwholesome. I'm hoping we can talk about those things and see what we can do in North America. Because we are sort of on the ball on many issues. Aren't we? We're quite united. United States. All right. Not at the moment. Very polarized. Yeah. Anything else on that topic of Prabhupada-centeredness? I just want to say that when you discuss these things, I know it's your first time together, but we bring up these points, and it really kind of, you know, irons out all, you know, the kinks that might be there in the dynamics of things. It's really good if we can bring up these points that are important to us, you know. And when it comes to the guru situation, I think that's one of the biggest hurdles. You and your hand up, please.
Thank you, Maharaj, for bringing this up. One thing that I've noticed, somewhat of a trend, as devotees start to explore studies in different Vaishnava acharyas. Sometimes they get influenced by them, and they bring some of that in. Sometimes it's not always in parallel, or as Srila Prabhupada may have pulled from them in what he presented to us. And they bring that into classes, they bring it into, sometimes that becomes very impressive to people, but wow, you know, like, we never knew that before. And so I see that as one of the challenges going forward is how do we pull from our acharyas that people start to study them, what is allowed to be presented, how do you prevent that from being confusing to?
Well, I would say that the first line of business would be to people who come to the movement, encourage them to go through all of Prabhupada's books. At least get that down first, before you start sort of meddling into other publications. You know? Let's get that down. And he did say Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, or Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and Nectar of Devotion. Get those down really good first. And then maybe, you know, with a little bit of coaching, you know, maybe people can dabble a little bit here and there. But I would like to do with people I initiate, I said, please read these 4 books and read everything you can about Prabhupada. Just any biographer that has come out with some publication. Get to know what it really means to be a Krishna conscious person, because it's all capsulized or embodied in Prabhupada's spirit and his behavior and so on like that. So at least let's get that down. And your question is good. It should be up for, you know, further discussion, what to do about these people, you know, that like to say, I want more, I need more, I more. I don't know. I'm personally satisfied. Prabhupada said, I've given you everything. You know, we have this lust factor. So, really? Is there a need for more? I think it's pretty good what he's done for us. And, you know, I don't think there's always a need to extend. Prabhupada was very concerned if devotees would get out of the ISKCON framework and start to sort of meddle with the, you know, the sadhus and Radhakund or wherever it was, right? If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, that's one book in the beautiful illuminating purports. Prabhupada makes it very clear, watch out for this and watch out for that, right? Yeah, because it can be confusing. Another thing he said, that if someone says one word, takes one word and says it, presents it differently than I have done, then it creates confusion. So I think it's better to be very straight in line. You know? Otherwise we get all over the place. Did you have a question?
Yeah, thank you so much for everything you've shared so far, Maharaj. And in this point of Prabhupada in the middle, in the Guru Groupism, as well as Kirtan, conscious Kirtan, and as leaders, as disciples of through the lineage of Prabhupada, right? What's our responsibility, or how would you suggest we approach that if we see it, right? Or if we're seeing it in our own congregations, or we're seeing it even with some of our own seniors. So how do we navigate that?
Well, it might be for a junior to talk to a senior, might be a little difficult, so maybe talk to a senior who can talk to that senior. And then when it comes to yourself, if you're recognized as the local, you know, coordinator for Krishna consciousness in your area, it's probably good to set it straight with everybody in the beginning. And if somebody goes a little bit off, just express your concern. It would be very personal. Here we have a chance to be very connected with people, to be personal, because this is an opportunity, you know, so that they will stay on track. It's easy for someone to go off track. Right. Is that okay? Maybe, you know, more discussions can be held on this. That's what I would propose for North America at least.
So Maharaj, thank you for the excellent point in keeping Prabhupada in the middle. And in that discussion you mentioned that how when other acharyas are quoted, these days we often see, because of the media very prevalent, and there's a big wave in India about people going to Vrindavan a lot. It's been crowded a lot. So the sentiment of the local people in India is very high on going and relishing that bhajans and everything. So the effect that happens in the temple, which we have seen, is there are a lot of new people coming in and they want to do a lot of service, but they feel very, very confused because their mind is full of this bhajan and Maharajas from India, which they are very popular Maharajas, and the celebrities even go there. So he had to explain everything, and in the mix of it, then they say, okay, then at least in our state, we have the Ritvik temples also, right? So then we have to explain the Ritvikism also. So for the person who has just walked through the door, maybe a year or so, he's still relishing the Indian aspect of the bhajans and kirtans and everything, which is very attractive, and then this rules in ISKCON. So I feel that that whole set of people, especially after the COVID, they really feel confused. And that population, it's very hard to put that point across that we are this and we want to do this. I don't know, have you heard about all these things?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't want to hear it. Yes. Well, I think it's good just to have these regular courses. I think we have to become more of an educational institution, and maybe concentrate on a little bit more. Puja it'll always be what it is, But even Prabhupada said in regards to that, he said, we consider that the sound incarnation of the Lord is more important than, the rituals, So if we can think along those lines too. Let's have more of an educational, slant to our Krishna consciousness, to our movement, and provide that information that people need so they'll be well informed. And then we can avoid some of those things. One thing is that if we do get Prabhupada in the center place, then that satisfies some people who have their tendencies.
Yes.
Because their criticism, look at this guy and look at that guy. If we can just, again, get back to the centerfold, the centerpiece of Prabhupada there, that should satisfy some people. But again, I think it's up for discussion. Prabhu, you want to?
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, my thing is that, like you mentioned about the conscious kirtan, and the kirtan leaders, they do so many creative things to make the kirtan look and sound attractive. And the temple rules, like you said, it has to be very simple according to Prabhupada and everything. So this course, what you're mentioning about the conscious kirtan, it's just a thought, I don't know, I might be wrong. How about we make that as a practice for all the people who are in prominent positions, leading a temple or a spiritual center to go through, and then they can actually go ahead and train.
They can teach, that's what I was saying to one of the devotees here. What we did in Montreal, where we had our AGM for Canada, and that Zone 1, we went to let everybody go through this course. And then they in turn should be able to teach it to their constituents, right? And then you have to renew it like every 6 months or so. There's always new people coming in, right? Yeah, and it's okay. It's just a good reminder for yourself that these are the standards. Like there is some room for flexibility, but that's a little bit more outside. You really have to understand how to balance these things.
Yeah, just to put it in kind of a controversial way, I think we have to understand ours is not an Indian movement. And we're not even a Vedic movement. We're a Vaishnava movement. And within that, we're a Gaudiya Vaishnava movement. And within that, we have our Acharya Srila Prabhupada. So, there's people that come to our movement that like to put up Christmas trees. So that's fine, have a Christmas tree. We don't have a problem with Christmas trees, and maybe that increases your devotion to God. But generally, we don't do it at the temple, because we do certain things. Some people come, my family chanted Shiva mantras for 40 years. Okay, that's okay, fine, great, it connects you with God. But we're moving towards Prabhupada consciousness and Radha Krishna consciousness and Chaitanya consciousness. So I think we have to kind of find a middle ground. We don't want to be some kind of ultra-conservative organization that says, this is not allowed, that's not allowed. If all of our members from India chastise all of the Western-born people, what the heck, you have to have a Christmas tree in your house. And the people in the West chastise people, how dare you have Shiva on your altar at home. We're finished. It's like we just turned into the International Society for criticizing each other. The goal is, we want to accept what goes to Krishna, and like we've all seen, you kind of gradually give up some things, and the real question is, are you becoming attached to Krishna? And for us, at least, as you said, within our temples and within our community, we're moving towards the standards that the Prabhupada gave us.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to relay something that you brought to my mind. It was when our GBC member was Jagadish Prabhu, Minister of Education. when he was still with us in Canada. He had a chat with Professor Joseph T. O'Connell. Everybody knows him, you've heard about him, his name's popped up all the time. You know, when he asked about female gurus, and Prabhupada said yes, not many, but yes. And so Jagadish, our former GBC member, had a nice long talk with Professor O'Connell. I wasn't able to sit down, but I asked Jagadish after what was the conversation about. And he said that he was explaining to the professor that the movement has, you know, after Prabhupada's departure, there was very strong personalities who were gurus, and it's almost like almost like a hostile takeover. I'm just paraphrasing. And Professor Khan says, well, you know, it's not a guru movement. It's not a guru culture. It's a Vaishnava culture. And, you know, he studied Gaudiya Vaishnavism was what he majored in, as well as Sikhism. He taught in these, you know, these two areas of, you know, cultural norms. So, yeah, you can't be too tough on people when you're trying to correct them, but there has to be a real nice Vaishnava, you know, congenial way to, you know, make them understand, you know. Be like a caring mom or dad or big brother, big sister, like what you're supposed to be doing anyways, right? In all matters. Yeah. So maybe this could be brought up again, but what can we do to see that Prabhupada would be there in the middle? I'm just being a little conscious of time here. Number 5, I think we just put that equanimity, yeah, just share the men and women, just like the good old days. You know, I put that little music video out there, boy, Prabhupada's Boys and Girls. Did anybody see that? We've got it around, we could give it to you again. You know, in the old days it was like that, it was kind of like this. The ladies here, men are here, we're sharing the same space, and you know, and we shared in cooking and the puja and leading kirtan. That's the way it was. It was a real family feel, what Madana-gopāla was talking about. And that's what drew me. People are missing family. Many people come from dysfunctional families, and they're looking for a substitute now. They're looking for a community, you know, something bigger than what one biological family can offer. And so we've got it. But if we see that there's like a caste system, you know, women are treated second class or something like that, which has been somewhat the experience. It's not very appealing for a North American audience, as we know. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't. To put it in plain English, it ain't working. So I think we can do a lot. I mean, just like to put it this way, many of us have experienced strong feminism, and it hurts the guys, right? It hurts us. And it's the same thing, goes the same way the other way. If there's just too much criticism against women, it hurts. So why don't we just create this family feel? Why don't we go hit it in the middle, and everyone shares in the responsibility? I think family, there's something really beautiful about that. And that's number 6 that I have on my list here. Reinforce family values, encourage the different ashrams. There's something that maybe is not so critical here, but I know for a fact, when I was just in India, the 2 brahmacharis were quite mature, who were helping me during my detox. Well, don't get me wrong. I was just going for a panchakarma. And at the Govardhan. So they were just telling me a little bit about what's going on in the brahmachari ashrams. And it's something like this, okay? Devotees are very good, expert at bringing in young men in. And they come and they're expected to, you know, to give quality time, maybe their whole life. That's the expectation. But it's not satisfying the needs of most of the guys, I must tell you. And I personally think that we should look more like, take the model of what they do in some Buddhist countries. Have a program for 2 years where young men so can learn everything. 1 year, 2 years, maybe 3 years max, and then help them to go for the change, transition to the ashram. Help them. And because we don't want it, we want babies. we need them, you know, our what was that? You're all my babies. But our birth rate is low. Our birth rate is very low, and that's not going to work in the future for us.
Yeah.
We should encourage children because they're wonderful. You learn how to be a great servant. You know, and they may not turn out exactly the way you want, but they are. It's a good investment. You know? Otherwise, what else will you be doing? Anyways, that's a whole topic that I don't want to get into. But really enforce family life. When we do the dramas, I'm going to South Africa in a week's time, and we're going to do the story of Shiva Sati, and you know, where she burns herself up. And we're doing one scene with some dreamy music in the background, where Shiva comes and he picks up his cindered, you know, dead wife, and he dances with her. Oh yeah, the hair stand on end, right? The goosebumps. So I try to, in the script writing, and also through the avenue of laying out the story, try to bring in the element of, you know, a wholesome grasp of life that we need to do. Okay. Now, many of you know or have heard, have read about the early days. That was frowned down upon. You know, and if a young man he switched clothes from saffron to white, then people would be a little bit of a laughing stock for a bit. Isn't that true? Yeah. So it was a misinterpretation of the scriptures, and that's what I have to say on that. Okay, how are we doing for time?
Right now it's 11:47.
Okay, so I'll be quick here then. Bhakti Academy. Now this is something that we in Canada borrowed from Kalakantapuru. He calls it Krishna House. And we took it seriously. So after COVID, well, we did some renovations, and there were empty rooms. How are we going to fill up these rooms? Because that's when you get things done during COVID. No one was allowed to come in. So we thought, let's try a model that's working so that everybody knows the program in Gainesville, Krishna House. So we got on the phone, our Temple Council members in Toronto, with Kalakanta, and he gave us painted a picture of what it's really all about. And it is an investment financially, all those kind of things, and some people may not like the change, but I just want to say that since we got Bhakti Academy going, we're in our 3rd year now, we got these bright young people that have come in to the picture. Many of them are now leaders, they're taking up responsibilities. Some of them are going to school during the day, others are going to work, you know. And but they have a morning and evening program, and it's working out so well. They're so grateful, they're so cultured, so, isn't it?
Yes.
They're just fantastic. And I think it's a way, you know, bringing all this youthful energy, it's very rejuvenating. It really can just bring a lot of life into your temple. So if you're looking for, you know, quality students, they're there. They're there. And I would take advantage because a lot of them are international students. And you know, North America has been built on new waves of immigrants coming in since time immemorial, right? Practically so. And these kids are very valued. They're great IT people, maybe they're great AI people too, I don't know about that part. They're smart, clean, respectful, you know. They want to learn, they're good students, you know. And they have a very strong passion to bring local people in, you know. They really want that to happen. They want to see, you know, whether it's white or black or Chinese, they want to see those kind of people coming in. So they're trying in this area. And I would say in our zone, we do have two particular places, which is kind of more Western outreach. And that approach is a little different than for like an Indian crowd. I don't think we have too much time to get into that. And I would just say that number 8, because it is 8 points that we got actually. constant visits by the leaders, you know, whether it's flying or, we've got Canada, you know. And last year, I went to Nunavut, which is a big chunky area where there's no trees. No trees, that's how cold it is. You know, it's one of those places where polar bears come.
Yes.
And have you heard about bears? If they're black, fight back. If they're brown, lie down. If they're white, good night. Yeah, if you meet a polar bear in the wild, there's this, I went to the capital city and we were lucky to get on TV and radio there as well. Just as the walking monk, it's just something to play with. And, you know, they have a rule there, you should keep your doors unlocked in case there's a polar bear in the street and it's going to come after you. So at least you come to the nearest door, open it up and you're safe. So there's something percolating up in that area, you know, way up there. So there's already a mosque there. There's a church there that's in the shape of an igloo. And so I think it's just important to get around and visit everybody and see what's going on because of all the factors that you brought up, you know, there's things creeping in that could hurt us later on. So just to be on top of things. I know Anushka is always on the road, and I mean, some of you are, Jai Krishna, I think you're getting around too with your whatever hot rod, whatever you have. Madana-gopāla. So it's important to visit your areas. So the last thing is, did we get a list of?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just, do we have a little time still?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Couple minutes, okay. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm just gonna, especially just pull out this way. Okay, so in 1970, yeah, 1970, this is pretty much what we had. Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, yeah, that's right, I can do that. Oh, there's a one. Okay, good. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so this is what we had, the major cities, like Toronto's the biggest one, Montreal's next in terms of population. We got Vancouver and Ottawa. And then just moving it ahead to the year 2000, the change of the millennium, then we got added a few more places. Well, Sharanagati came on the scene. And, you know, we got the 2 places in Alberta. So Saskatchewan has been there for quite a stretch. And yeah, that's about it. And then let's look, as Madana-gopāla was saying, just in the last few years, this has happened for us. And we just registered Grand Prairie, which is really like a French Grand Prairie. And it's not a big place, but we just have a nice couple of good families there. So we established, and we think about myself and Indresh and Brinda, who most of you know. We have another devotee, Indra. We work together on these things. We determine who will be the board of directors, and that's usually some of us senior people. You know, I'm usually on almost all of them, and we don't do a lot of work. We just kind of look at their books, and if they have need some help, we'll be there for them. But then you have the next board of officers. And they are the people who do the nitty-gritty work. They organize the temples. And we find that what really works now is do something weekly. It's realistic. That's what people can manage. You know, we're not so much into this elaborate temple worship, if you know what I mean. You know, it's hard to maintain. Yeah, and so that's what our centers are all about. Somewhere here in southern Ontario, a place called Angus. And you could give the list if you've got it right now. Angus is more like a Western crowd. They come together, and it's just once a month for them. And that's good enough. That's all they can handle right now. And we got 2 other places that will follow that kind of model. So it's a different kind of music, and you know, it's a little easier. Simple melodies to follow. It's not complicated. It's not like you know, that kind of stuff. You know. And it's, yeah, we're very happy about that. So that's the model we want to duplicate in other places. So we do have some over here, St. John's, Newfoundland, right here. close to the Titanic sank around this area here.
Yeah.
And so right at this, on the East Coast, we have something happening for us right now there. And there are a few other locations that we're identifying as ISKCON operated. In Toronto, we also have ISKCON Russian-speaking Toronto. That's what they wanted. So what they can feel like they're part of the mission, part of the family, and they don't have to feel that they have to, let's say, cater to everything that the major temple does. Yeah, and there is a fear, I think, you brought up Madana-gopāla, or maybe Anutama, that if you start a new center, the main temple's going to lose all their donors and all that. But that never happened, in our experience. Everything just gets bigger and wider, just more people get excited. There's ISKCON here and ISKCON there. You don't have that for yoga centers. You don't have that. Hindu temples don't duplicate. They just stay as one particular entity and a legal entity, and that's it. They don't grow. Except for maybe Swami Narayan, and now we understand that they're all splitting up like anything. So this is what's been happening for us, and Indresh is on the call with you quite a bit, and Brenda, so they can explain a little bit more how it's done. But for myself, I got excited when I saw the Muslims are growing like anything, And I thought, well, we were here before they were. What's the matter with us? Come on, get it together. So I thought, to be very passionate, let's get going. Let's get going. And there are talented people in your zone that are underutilized. So why don't you get them to, they form a board? Is that deliberate? No.
The timer.
Why not recognize them, empower them, and men or women, it doesn't matter. Just get them all involved and follow a nice simple model, and they're happy to help you to let you know how we do it. Well, I guess that's about it for now. And I'll be around, but I do have one problem: insomnia. I did not sleep 1 minute last night, so I have to go. Okay. Thank you. I'm not looking for pity.
If I speak, you fall asleep on ours. You might fall asleep if you listen to me. We round of applause for Maharaj. Hare Krishna. So many amazing things going on in Canada. We have no excuse. It's warmer here. It's so cold up there. They got a lot more snow, and they don't care. It doesn't bother them that we have snow or anything. It actually works.
Snow is beautiful.
Snow is beautiful. That's right.
It's water. It's pretty water. That's what it is.
Pretty water.
So, coming back to the schedule, it's going to be a little bit of, I think it's a break. Is it break time now? Yes.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute break. So it's 12 now. We'll break till 12:10. And you can have a little snack, or you can go outside for some air. But do come back at 12:10 sharp. Hare Krishna.